Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Women's View. It's Monday, right? So we are starting something with news. So, of course, yesterday I was thinking, oh, tomorrow will be Sunday so that I can sleep very much. But anyway, Monday has come. So you can start with Women's View. I will be your host, Joachim. And then I hope you are having a wonderful time with us. So are you ready to chat with us? So we are here to make you happy again. Positive change comes in the most intimate and the most expensive ways. One way is to provide the tangible benefits of basic needs and make a positive impact to those in need. Each of us, in fact, every day engages in making the world a better place. But the first step is to change ourselves. Do youth to need change? Today we talk about youth and change, and to help us out we have our honorable panels. Okay, hello everyone.
Hello.
Okay, so it's been a long time. Why you didn't visit us?
It's been long, but I'm back.
Anyway, so I'd like to introduce you to our viewers. Okay, so please tell your name and what do you do.
Yes, my name is Jane Mwangeshi Kagiri. I'm an IT consultant by profession, and I'm the women representative aspirant Laikipia County. Yes.
Okay, so how are you today?
Fine, thank you. Yes.
Okay, hello.
Hello.
Your name, please.
I'm Evans Mutiga. I'm in charge of the International Youth Fellowship Kenya as the Strategy and Planning Manager.
Oh, you're doing what there?
Yeah, Strategy and Planning.
Strategy and Planning.
Yeah.
So, what kind of work do you do majorly?
So majorly, we prepare events.
Okay.
And we organize program for the youth.
That means you must be very busy right now.
Especially
Even you
right now.
are very busy, but you took out your busy schedule and you are here with us. I'm very happy to see you.
Yeah.
So maybe you can talk about your preparation for World Camp afterwards.
Yes.
Okay, nice to meet you. Your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Bonfas Kilivo, Teens of Hope Initiative Founder President. And the
Harakasana.
community.
I cannot hear your name.
Okay, my name is Bonfas Kilivo, Teens of Hope Initiative Founder President.
Okay.
It's a community-based organization and a community mobilizer.
So your work is like a kind of social service, right?
Social work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, it's very fresh and young people are here to chat together. There is no old people here. Okay, very good. So how are you, Sophie?
Actually, my Monday started out in a very boring way. But I see you took out the coffee, you brought me some energy drink, so I think my Monday is good.
We have to be very energetic because Monday is something start, right? So Women's View is just starting something very fresh in this week. So let's have this. Oh yeah, we are getting vitamin, right? Okay. So let me introduce our topic to our viewers. Okay. Maybe you can also participate our show with you prepare something for yourself. If you want a coffee, we are okay. So I think for me, coffee also is fine, but as you said, we have to be very energetic. So maybe you can be with us, and then you can always send SMS to us because I'm going to ask you a sample question. What do you think can be done to influence positive change in youth? I will repeat again. What do you think can be done to influence positive change in youth? Maybe you can always SMS. You remember the number, right? 8550 will be there. And you can always post on Facebook, and you can tweet us too. Okay, so change. Maybe I experienced change very, very much, and then it was a little bit hard to me. I read one quotation. To desire for change, it's a sign of safety. Do you think it's right, Sophie? Do you agree with this?
Personally, I really fear change. But now that you say that, maybe it's a good thing. But personally, I fear change.
Yeah, I'm very scared of, something change. For me, just go. I don't want to change even my face because, whenever I see my wrinkle, I feel like, oh my God, I'm getting age. I don't like change.
Yeah.
So you don't scare of change?
I don't think I'm scared of change, because let me say, even for me to have gotten into the political ambitions, the thing that actually accelerated me to that is because I wanted to see change. We keep complaining, but it gets to a point where we ask ourselves, why don't I become the change that I want to see? So I'm ready for change, and I welcome that change.
Please make us feel the same way.
Like Sophia, always we are learning something from our guests, right? We are like baby in front of sea, you know. Like when I see the sea, you know, sea as sea. Have you been to sea? Chennai.
Yes, Chennai.
Before starting the show, she said she stayed in Chennai.
Yeah.
So Chennai is a very beautiful
In
place.
India?
Yeah, in India. I never been there anyway.
Yeah, it's very
so like
beautiful.
for me, change is like the place.
Yeah.
I came out from Korea 7 years ago, and I went to India with my family. Even that is another change. And then again with my family, I came to Nairobi. So when I was going to India, I was so scared to face change. But when I was coming to Nairobi, I was excited to receive change, you know.
Yeah.
That was different from me, from my sister. My sisters were crying like anything. They were saying, now I'm a bit accustomed to stay in India. Again, I have to face change. They were so scared. I think because they're teenagers still. And
But
I've grown
actually,
up.
with the things, everything about life is change. Because like me working with the youth, I see change every day. Yeah. It depends from youth. Starting from me myself, I see change every day. Starting with the mindset. The way I used to think about things, it is always changing. As I meet new people, as I work in different places, as I go to different places, all these things. Actually, change in life is in general. Everything has to change for your life to continue moving on.
You mentioned that change is general, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it's something very special.
For,
general.
I mean, everything for life, it has to change for you to see life is moving.
But I think that depends on how you view it also. Someone can change for good or for bad. You can change from being a good person to a bad person, or you can change to be...
I think we have to go back to our teenager time. I wanted to talk to some teenager, but they are having exams, so they couldn't come. Anyway, like if we just imagine we are a teenager, didn't you feel that your body is changing? We can start from body, right? Teenager time, their body, something changed. So I was so scared. Like when I see my students also, they were very difficult to accept the change, and then it became very serious problem to them. They could not tell other people, you know, change in their body. So maybe they can have very difficult time, you know, to accepting change. That time, in my opinion, I think if they have a sibling like me, I have my sister, so I can explain about my experience, right? So you
I
didn't...
think the first thing that scares people about change is especially the physical change that someone
physical
can
change,
see
yeah.
in them. When you're starting the program, you talked about like changing the society, like giving people maybe basic needs. I take that as maybe you're speaking about charity, just giving people basic needs they need. But physical change, that's a big problem. And to me, physical change, that's what I think is like the general of all changes that can happen. Because physical change can create someone to be can point someone to the right direction or to the wrong direction. Like as you said, for teenagers, like when they're changing in adolescent, when they're changing, their body is changing, their thinking is changing, everything is changing. It's a bit too, at first it's awkward for them.
Yeah.
So without the right guidance, that's where you find them resorting to other things that maybe they feel will help them cope with the change that is
I
happening
was
to
so
them.
scared, and then I could not even tell my parents about change, physical change, you know. You were not feeling scared. It was only me.
So
What about
that's
you?
where the independence come from. Because some people, they change also, and they become more strong. Others change,
They become
they
weaker.
become more
You know
weaker.
what? I'm asking
So-
your experience. You have to be
Yeah,
frank
so-
like me. I'm very scared. I could
So-
not even tell my parents. Yeah.
So for me, my changes give me strength. Yeah.
Wow.
So as I grew up and I started being established, and I discovered I can do my things up to this limit.
You
I
feel so good. You are growing
yeah.
up.
So this time I wanted to be, I could not be guided. Yeah. I want to live separate from my father, from my parents. Because I feel now I can make my own decisions. I have everything that I need. From parents, just they provide me and I can guide my life. So change, it depends. Also, you can receive change and you change in the opposite way. Some they become weak, they become scared. Others they become weak, strong. They go against parents through these changes. So also it depends with each and every person. How does this change come? Yeah. Also, from background of families, you can live in a family where there's so much strictness. So when you change, you want to do things more independently. But others, they are somehow free, and they have that free environment. And when they receive this change, somehow they are scared. They don't know how to handle this change. Yeah.
But
So
your case was like you're feeling good.
Yeah, because
you're getting strength.
I was restricted.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what about you, Bonfes?
Okay, all I can say about change is that change is a process. Change is not a one-day event. So you need to undergo some process for the change to take place. So again, what I'd like to add on the same is that you need to be very much patient when it comes to change. Like the day you are growing up from a teenage to the adult, you know, to the process. Okay, we expected some of the things to take place in our lives, but we were very much patient during that process. So change is a process, and again, you need to be very patient during this process.
So when you were changing, you knew that was going to happen. Like you wake up the next morning and your voice is different, and you're like, I expected this. It's okay.
You know, again, okay, what I would like to insist on is that we learn from other people. So our elder brothers who were ahead of us, we used to see what exactly was taking place in their lives. So through this experience, we were able now to be like, okay, maybe when I reach to class 6 or class 7, I'll be expecting to be like...
They were. Okay, fine.
So they are not something very new to us, but some were very new. Again, when it comes to our normal life, we are living in a world whereby things are moving very fast. In fact, when it comes to technology, things are moving very fast.
Like,
so,
sorry, I have one question. In Korea, we have special education in school regarding physical change, and then mind also is changing, right? They are like we call adolescence time, like teenager time, we call, I don't know in English how to say, like storm and calm, storm, calm, like this, you know? Sometimes, like this, sometimes very, I don't know how to express in English, but I hope you all understood, right? Like this, right? So we have special education for adolescents in school. What about in Kenya?
Just in home science, I think. Was it home science or biology?
It was home science.
Home science.
That's the only thing
They did, but it was from period to period. Sometimes they could invite people.
I hope here school also they have a special education, special lecture for adolescents. It will be very helpful for the students. Like him, like he learned from his elders, his other people. That's why he could expect that. But my case was, I think I was too innocent. I didn't know anything about, even my parents were so busy at the time, I was alone.
And you're the firstborn.
Yeah, I didn't know anything, so I was so scared. But when I see my sisters, they're a little bit different. When they grow up, something changed in their body, they were so excited. Oh my God, something is happening to my body. And then they are like, oh, I'm becoming adult. They were so feeling good. And then they came to my room, they took all my clothes and they do makeup, they're imitating elders. So maybe depends on people, I think, and depends on education.
Also, there's that freedom also. In Africa also, there are those issues we don't go deeply. Also, like you say, you are somewhere in the aspect of a culture also. Because in our place, like, body changes. You cannot meet like they have in classes. Like you said, you have an education system like this. But in these places, in Africa, it's not common. Yeah, they just like accept life as it is. I don't know, I can say, but
so just now you use the word accept. So like I want to talk about accepting change. So I think of course, teenagers themselves have to accept the change, but as parents also, they have to accept their children are changed. You know, so acceptation is very, very important, I think so.
Yeah, change in the first instant, it's always so awkward and so different. But when it comes to teenagers, just not even now just the physical change only, even the behavioral change, when a teenager or a youth can't accept that, yeah, maybe I'm wrong here, I need to change. That's when you hear them when they're being told something that you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do this, they feel, no, I shouldn't be told to do this, I feel I'm right, I should not change from this. They don't want to accept that, yeah, maybe at some point I need to change the way I think, the way I do things. So accepting change is change in the first place. If you can't accept that you're supposed to change, you cannot change. And with that, you'll just be the level you are. So whether it is in a right way or it is in a wrong way, you'll always just be what you know. But accepting change can help you be someone better. But accepting the wrong change will also make you be someone.
You know, I agree with you. I think obsession is the first step to change.
I also think in regard to change, what makes most of us afraid of it is because we have fear of the unknown. And I always say if most of us are religious, and we always know fear is brought by the devil. So if we'd first accept to reject fear in everything that we venture into, then I believe we'd easily accept whatever change comes.
So you mean if you accept and if you don't have fear, it's very easy to accept change.
That is
Actually,
true.
my next question was, is it easy to accept change? That was my, I mean, is it to change or is it to accept? You don't think it's easy?
Change is actually the most difficult transition, if I call it transition, because it is changing from what you already know or what you already have, you are receiving new. Yeah, it's like I'm holding on to something and you're giving, I have to release what I'm holding. So it depends on how precious what I'm holding is. So if it is so precious, I will have to I cannot release. Even though this one can change me, but what I'm holding is somehow strong. Yeah, even parents is same. As we grow up, they know definitely we will change. Yeah, but also their approach is very wrong. Yeah, sometimes they approach as if they want us automatically to know what they want. Yeah, because also me, as I grew up, I had so much conflict with my father because he restricted me so many things. Yeah, so many things, because it was like, although they love us, yes, they control, but the level of control, it is beyond. Yeah, so sometimes as you change, also you want freedom.
But don't you think, like, when you say that it depends on what you're holding, what you know, that will determine whether you'll accept change or not. But what if what you feel, like the thing you're holding, or your thoughts, everything you're holding, you feel they're not giving you like a go or like change in a good way? Don't you think, like, if you accept something from someone else, if you accept a different mindset from yours, it can help you be something else. It can grow you if you accept. Although you're saying it's hard, but at times I feel you should just always listen to someone else. Just another opinion can make you see something else, and you can change.
I also think, you know, the way what guides us in the change process is also the mantras you have in your life. Like now, there's something I always say: everything happens for a good reason. You may not see it now, but one day you will. So when this change is happening, it may be so painful and very difficult, but at that point, always remind yourself it's happening for a good reason. I'll give you an example. I went to boarding school when I was 8 years old. That is the most tremendous and biggest change I've ever had in my life. And I remember one girl in class 1 telling me, "Don't worry, your mother will be sleeping with you." So I didn't realize it was a lie, and I accepted, let me go to boarding school. So my mother helped me settle in, and in the evening she told me bye. Till today I remember the scream that rang in that dormitory, because I could not imagine how could my mother be leaving me, yet I'd been told she'd be waking up, goes to work. I wake up, I go to class, in the evening we meet in the dormitory, which of course today when I look back I think how foolish was I to have even thought that was possible.
Sad story.
But years later, today as I venture into politics, which is not a very easy field, I realized God was preparing me for a process because that actually made me mature very early and gave me a kind of hardening that today I now appreciate. But looking back then, I thought that was the most inhuman thing that could happen to me. But today I can smile and say it was the best thing that has ever happened.
You don't really need your mother even now.
Yes, I really need her for advice, but I don't need to see her every minute seated next to me. Yeah. So sometimes changes for the better.
So change in a painful way can be of benefit in some day to come.
Yes.
I'm reading novel these days. That title also like about mother. Anyway, it is written actually herself main character. Herself is writer in that novel also. She was saying like people think something happened and they cannot accept because it's just something suddenly all of a sudden this thing happened. So they're saying why it's happened, like all of a sudden people are complaining like that and they cannot accept. And then so like something very huge change, you know, in their life. But she was saying that because we don't think very deeply. That's why we are saying all of a sudden. But when we think deeply, we can expect about our future. Maybe this moment, this thing will happen, so I have to be prepared like that. So I think the power of, you know, thinking, I think that is very important, you know, so that we can prepare something very huge change. So like teaching our youngsters to how to think. I think that is very important. When I was reading that, I was very shameful. I was like, oh, this thing happened, like, oh, what should I do in this like new moment? I don't know what to do. But if I was thinking very carefully before, maybe this thing can be happen. I can think this and that option, you know. I can be prepared. So maybe youngsters, because some youngsters, they don't want to think. They don't want to think. So it's lacking. They are very locked. So we need to teach them. We have to guide them because we already experience how to accept
Boniface,
change.
you work with the youth, yeah?
Yeah, I work
like
with
how easy do you make it for them to just accept change? Because I'm sure that group of people not so easy to convince. How do you make them just feel it's okay to change?
Okay, I'll start by talking about the teenagers. Our organization is called Teens of Hope Initiative.
Teens of Hope.
Teens of Hope Initiative. So we deal mainly with the teenagers. So there's a program which we came up with through our education program called SFS, Scouting for Solution. So Scouting for Solution is a program which is being supported by Kenya Scout Association and USAID and Pathfinders. So they are providing us with the materials, and now we can be able now to roll out this program in these schools. So we have schools outreach programs whereby we deal with teenagers. Now during these programs, you will experience so many things that these teenagers are facing. Like some, when it comes to that stage of adolescence, they find themselves that they are not able to make their own decision. They are not able. They have no capacity. So ours was just to give them capacity on decision making, and some other issues that are facing them on day to day. So during this time, we came to realize that most of the teenagers, they drop out of schools because of the peer pressure. Peer pressure, I mean, they are being influenced by their friends.
I know about it,
yeah. So they come out of schools and they start engaging themselves in funny activities in the communities. Even some, to an extent, they start engaging themselves into crime offenses.
I
and
think the teenagers, they don't have firm determination. That's
determination,
why,
and they don't know what exactly they need
And what to
do with their life,
to,
and whom to listen to, and what to do after this.
And
So that kind of life, it was so touching to our organization. And even some, they reached to a point whereby they get pregnant by even the teachers from the schools. So they have to leave from the schools.
Wow.
So there were so many cases about the teenagers dropping from schools and such stuff. And after this, we realized that we are trying to help these children in schools, and yet most of them are dropping out of schools. So the ones who are now out of schools, we are unable to reach them. So what we decided is that we'll now start through the education program, which we are running now. We'll also try to come up with another program from now the community, so that we can fight from both ends. Yeah. So we came up with a program called the Young Mothers, and the program was basically to see on how we can bring these teenagers together, the young mothers together, and we start talking to them. And if they accept, they can be able now to go back to school
How
and
easy
continue schooling.
is it for them to accept and just change like pop?
No, it's a process. Yeah, it is not that easy. You
It's
can
not
imagine
easy. We
now,
cannot push them or so, right?
yeah, you can imagine now she's like 15 years. Now
She's
a
a
baby having a baby, you know, a child having a child, you know, it's so touching. So what we decided to do is that to come up with a program on how we can talk to them and accept to go back to school. And the other ones who doesn't want to go back to school, we start looking for other opportunities if they can now join colleges and such stuff.
And what about their children?
The children now, they are parents, especially for those who have both parents. Their mothers are somehow very supportive. They decide to help their children.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this teenager, he doesn't know what exactly to do after this. He can't even fight for her life. The person who impregnated her is now very much far from her. He doesn't offer any support to this young teenager. So you can just imagine what kind of life is this teenager experiencing down there at the slum. So what we were really trying to do was that if we can come up with a program, and we were very much lucky enough to get a program with the World Bank, which is being funded by World Bank, called the KEPSA,
Okay.
implemented by KEPSA in Kenya and the Ministry of Youth. So this program, it's called internship program,
Yeah.
whereby they take these people back to school, they educate them, they give them skills, and thereafter they start giving them some grants and loans on how now they can start their own business and become self-reliant.
Okay.
So it's a process. It's
You
a
know
process.
what he's mentioned about process, and it's not easy to accept, but some people are always there to help our teenagers. So like we are talking about change in youth, but actually in my opinion change is very good, even though it's something is not easy to accept. But for some people, like especially for youth, maybe this will be very tough to accept and tough to manage by themselves. So like what can we do for our youth to accept change is something new to them? So I really need your opinion and your SMS. So please send something to us, and we are always will be there to talk to you. And then Sophia, I think these people, they are very nervous, so they don't even drink, which is prepared by us. So let them have time to drink our vitamin. Okay, even you. I drink a lot. So we are going to take a very short break. So we'll be right back after short break. Okay, everything is a flows, nothing stays, but, some people, they really cannot be accustomed in that changes, something flowing. So in this world, especially these days, something is changing very fastly. So I think especially our youth, our young people, they have to be accustomed, but even though they think they can do by themselves, but I think they really need very special attendance from elders and special help and guidance from elders. So being elders, what can you do for our youth? So what do you think can be done to influence positive change in youth? So always we are waiting for your SMS and your opinion. You have to participate in our chatting. Okay.
I remembered something.
Okay.
Change, you can change yourself, but some people are too scared to see that change in you. Like when they see no, was this, but now she's this. I think it's what is bringing problems in Kenya right now. Guys are used to the school uniforms being these long skirts and these long trousers, but now people see students in very short. I think it's what's going on.
Even Kenyan students are wearing short skirt.
They are demanding to wear short skirts.
You cannot
It's
imagine
becoming a problem.
Korean students' uniform. Okay, like they can wear till knee, before knee. Myself, when I was a teenager, after buying uniform, I go to tailor. Right after my uniform, I go to tailor, and I'm showing, not cut, I'm showing that here tight. Tight! And then my jacket also short, and something very tight, you know? And then I didn't make sure because I knew that my leg is not very much pretty, but I made it very tight.
Really?
Yeah. After that, when I became senior, I became very fat. I cannot wear. But anyway, like, but when I see these youngsters, very, very short. But I thought Kenyan students are not like that.
Oh, no, we were not like that. Before, we had this. My uniform, for instance, in high school, was this. In fact, it was red. Long red skirt. And when you're a Form 1, it becomes more of a sack. When you touch it, it can almost make sounds if you do that. Very long. But these days, I see people wearing very, very short skirts. And I think parents really don't like that.
I tend to think it's a bit unfortunate because as we are all commenting about this whole issue, we are not putting it at an individual level. Where we ask yourself, if your daughter walked in that short skirt, would you approve of that?
It's change.
That's the question. In your place, it could be changed. In another household, it could be. It's not change. It's not positive change. And
It's
then
a kind of
also,
revolution.
the society is changing. Before, maybe people would look at a short skirt as being classy. In the modern society, people look at it as seduction. So the message you're also sending should also be considered in this particular situation.
It's just uniform. They're in school. It's
I don't think you are where you are because you wore a short skirt.
So I share the same view. I think it's uniform because actually the most important is the mindset. As I work with the youth, surely the only reason and the only problem with the youth is only the mindset. If we deal with the mindset, these other things, they are just automatic. Yeah?
That's true.
Yeah, it is like just, if we just change the mindset, yeah, everything else will just flow automatically.
You know what this conversation is reminding me recently? I was invited to my high school to give guests, I was the guest speaker to give an address to the students.
Okay, to your juniors.
To my juniors. Which I believe is something every one of us should be doing, going back to our schools and nurturing or mentoring the students who are there. And what I like is that our mindset then is not the kind of mindset the girls they have now. And I remember when I was told about giving this speech, the first thing I asked myself was, what would my speech be about? Then I thought, what are the things I would have wanted to be told when I was in school that I wasn't told? And the first thing I thought about telling the students was, number one, I told them, life is unfair. Accept it.
Yeah.
And in this particular case,
I agree with that. Life is unfair.
You did not start with that one.
That is what I started with this.
Because I was told that in Form 1.
You're fortunate you were told. And you know the reason comes to what we are talking about. I see Sophie has a short skirt. I want to wear a short skirt. But do I remember where I really come from? That's the point where we all change. I mean, you want to be like another student, but that's not the case. Yes, today I'm in a short skirt.
I was just confirming.
I have an opportunity to make the decision on what I can wear because I have actually succeeded to as far as I'm supposed to be. Then the point number two I told the student is, life will never recognize you until you achieve something, which I believe is what we should also be telling our youth. Like now I'll always ask, in high school, where did you used to know the number one student? Because she's number one. Where did you used to know the footballer? Because they're number one. Like in the community where Boniface has talked about, I believe we need to start telling those youth, the world is harsh. It will only recognize you as long as you're the best student, as long as you're the best footballer. You have to find something good in you for life, for the world to accept you. Then the third thing I told them is, if you think your teachers are bad, the world is harsh. Which I'm sure you will all agree with. Today, if you failed to report to work, somebody else will replace you instantly. But a teacher would punish you and tell you, I don't want you to repeat this again.
Now I'm learning something to tell my students. Because I'm a teacher, right? So I have many things. I'm teacher. Many things I have. Now I learn so many things to tell my students.
And then something else I also told them is, you have to learn how to hold on to your dreams because they'll come true. I remember in high school how many times we changed our careers. Me one day I would wake up, I want to be an accountant. The next day I wake up, somebody tells me, no, you're not good in maths. And immediately I would change. Eventually I got to doing what I loved doing, but I always wonder, what if I had not allowed people around the way to change whatever I think?
So you still change that? Did it have anything to do with politics in those your dreams?
No. Actually what I initially wanted to be was a jet fighter pilot. which I had even gone for the interview.
You already did interview too?
Yes.
But you could not succeed.
No, what happened is immediately I had applied for two things, to go study computer science and then to become a jet fighter pilot. When I weighed the two, I thought I wanted to go the IT way.
I think jet fighter
She's
is
like someone who has a lot of things to do in her
Jet
life.
fighter,
Actually,
you made me so
my like third, fourth dream was to be a first lady.
Oh, lovely.
Now I don't
Hold on
want
to your
to. No, thanks. Anyway, like you know, she mentioned about like students and teachers. How can them be influenced? But I want to mention about parents. The youngsters type. When youngsters are youngsters, they're very young, but they think they're grown up. They think they're grown up. They know everything. They can decide anything. But as you said, they
Especially after the physical changes they
yeah,
see before.
they can have a firm determination, decision, but they think they know everything. So when elders interfere them, they don't want to accept. And then we, as other elders, we're just angry. Why you don't listen to me? You are very young. I am older than you. I know everything. I know I have experience. Why do you want to accept? But these people are like in front of change. They are like they're experiencing change every day, every moment. At that time, elders are interfering them. They cannot accept. So what kind of? But they still need guidance, even though they don't want to accept.
No,
But
every parent would like their child to change in some way, like in a positive way. But what the parents don't realize is it's not what you tell them. Of course they know, some of them they know that this is wrong, I should be doing this. But it's not what you tell them, it's how you tell them in the first place. If you want to get a teenager angry, tell that person something in a very wrong way. Then you
actually that is
rebellious person.
because even me, the mindset that they put in us. Actually, as I grew up, there's one thing that really I hated in life. Yeah, because as I grew up, maybe until high school, I knew one thing. I knew I'm foolish. You know, because every time I met with my father, he never told me something that could encourage me. So, because I'm the only son, others are daughters. So, as I grew, it is like you want to take away the mindset of
How many
a
girls?
woman. Yeah?
How many girls?
2.
only three
So,
of you. Okay.
Yeah. So it is like he doesn't want me to live like a woman. Eh? He want to remove me to live as a man. So many times I make a mistake. You could come to me and tell me,
You foolish.
like, can I quote in Swahili?
Yes.
Yeah.
You could say, ukikalisha mjinga saidia mbele anakuliwa nyuma. You understand? Yeah? If you got a foolish person in front, someone else is sitting from behind. Yeah. So as I grew, every day I could remember this one. So when I made mistake, I thought, I'm foolish. Yeah?
But at that time, maybe you have something, you felt very bad toward your father, right?
So that is the level now. I wanted to be like different from my father.
Okay.
Because when I see, he's not better, but although he was a teacher, but he's not better than me. Yeah, he was a drunkard full time.
Oh, yeah.
So when I look, how can he tell me that I'm foolish?
Yes,
And
he's like
he
that.
comes at night. He is beating us. So
as you grew up, now you are matured. Maybe you are not married yet, right?
Not.
Anyway, still we are young. So, but you are mature. So maybe now you love your father. So now you can understand somehow. But teenager type never. And then, I was so surprised when I was reading some book. It is written that teenagers, they think their parents are hypocrite. Maybe you are so like that.
almost.
Yeah,
You know?
when I was reading that, I was thinking myself, did I think like that? But yeah.
This has reminded me some time back when we were growing up. One of my sisters asked my parents, and she was very innocently asking, is it that every parent used to be number 1 in their class? Because no parent says they used to be number 2.
Yeah.
All the parents say I used to be number 1 in my class.
You
Yeah.
come last, they
And they
will
were
beat
best
you.
in class.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, in miniskirt they were wearing. One of my photos in our houses is just behind where my father used to sit. It is for my mother with another woman. So they are wearing
Very
miniskirt,
short.
black and white, those 1970s.
Yeah.
And my younger sister cannot put on a trouser, And the picture is just behind him, It looks so ironical because every time my mother would complain that my sister is wearing all these miniskirt and everything. But we could ask what was wrong with this time. They
But what
cannot
I
answer.
appreciate about our parents is you realize at that point we didn't like all those things they used to say. But I think because of the experience they have, you now
already
realize
did.
everything
They
they,
already
used to
did.
tell us was
Yeah.
actually necessary. Because, like, no, in fact, what the same thing I was telling those students, it's so interesting that every day of my life, I quote something from what my teachers told me, what my parents told me, but back in the day, I would think these people are just too
Especially
much.
like adolescents, you know, adolescents, that is like representative of change in our youngsters. So at the time, our, you know, teenagers are very sensitive. So I think we have to avoid some sentences to them, like Boomfest. What kind of sentence as the elders they have to avoid to tell teenager?
Okay, I'll start by supporting my sister. She has talked about...
You became his sister.
Okay, I come from a family of 9 boys.
Whoa.
No daughter.
So when I call her my sister,
You're allowed.
I feel like I'm home.
Yes.
So what I would like to talk about is about when you want about change. When you want to talk about change, and when you want someone to listen to you and accept what you're telling him or her, first you must appreciate that person.
Yes.
You must show that person that you care about his or her life. These teenagers are not bad, are not hardcores. You can just talk to them and they can listen.
Yeah.
But first, appreciate them. Show them that, yeah, I can see now you are growing up.
Oh.
Show them now, I can see now you are maturing
You have
up.
to notice their change.
You have to notice
Yeah.
the change. You must to point out these things so that you can be able to listen. When we talk about teenagers or adolescents, the most affected people are the girls, not boys. Boys are not the most affected. The girls are the most affected in this
Yeah,
case.
when I remember my teenager, I was very much affected.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because the process, it's not fair, especially for the girls.
Yeah.
At least someone notices.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
so that's why you see,
So sweet, you know. Sophie, don't you feel like that?
He's disagreeing. Don't
What do you
even
mean by not fair?
okay, they undergo so many, so
Yours can
many
be counted.
processes.
try. Ours
Yes.
is- Wow.
The girl can be pregnanted, but for the boys, you can't tell.
You can still walk away.
Yeah, he can still walk away and is like, very innocent.
You can say, I
But
don't
for
know.
the girls, you finally you'll have to see the ending result. She's pregnant. She
She's
gave
dropped
birth
out
to a
of
baby.
school.
She dropped out of school. So you
And
see,
then
but
she
for
will be
boys,
pointed
they can
out
go
by other
and start engaging themselves in criminal offenses, such stuff. But still, you can't tell whether is a criminal or what.
Because you'll be having fun in the process.
Very true. But for the girls, you'll be able to identify. And that's why, like 5 years back, if you remember, the government started talking about empowering girl child, NGOs, empowering girl child, empowering girl child. Now, just a few months back, I was like, now everybody is fighting to empower
The girls.
the girls.
We've forgotten the
What will
Boys
happen to the future husbands?
It's already happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you see, when you look at the TVs, now we are being beaten by our wives. Why? Because the girls are so empowered to an extent, they want now to do what?
No,
To-
they've just been made to know what they are. That's
Yeah,
all.
but we need to be very
So
fair
that is what
when
they
it
are.
comes to empowering.
If you say they are made to what they are, that is what they are.
Yeah, so my concern is that we need to appreciate these teenagers.
Yeah.
We need to appreciate the change.
we have to
We need
notice.
to appreciate our community. We need to appreciate whatever we see around us. Even our government, we need to appreciate what they are doing. Because if we start criticizing what we are seeing right now, then we are not ready for change. Instead, we need to appreciate and start embracing this change we are talking about.
So yeah, as you said, you know, without noticing anything, how can we embrace, how can you accept the change? You know, accepting change is very, very important, especially as I mentioned before. It's a very fast, everything's so fast, you know, especially my country is too fast, you know. When I just visit after 1-2 years, I didn't know what to do anything there. I didn't know how to buy tickets for subway. You know, like I'm like so foreigner. I'm like so something from somewhere. So it's like other people are like, where you are not Korean? They're saying like that. And then my something has changed. They are saying that after leaving other country, my mind also changed so much. You know, when I came back to Korea, Korean people like they are saying very indirectly, but I'm saying very directly. So they are saying you're like foreigner. And then instead of using Korean language, I didn't want to do that, but I forgot some languages, some words in Korean, so I use English words mixed together. And then with my sister, sometimes I feel more comfortable with English. So like people are saying, no, you changed a lot. And then another thing is, my skin also became a bit dark. So if I stay with Korean people, I'm regarded as a foreigner. So they use English. For the women, if I attend some international camp in Korea, that time some Korean boys who came for the first time, they thought I'm foreigner. So, hey girl, Indian girl. I was like, because I was staying with Indian people, so like, hey, do you want to have this? I want to treat you, but they cannot use proper English. So that time I feel like, oh, I've changed a lot. But first, I was so sad. Oh, my country people, they accept me as their people. They regard me as a foreigner. I just reached Korean airport. That Korean airport staffs, they invite me, welcome to Korea. And they invite me. I was like, I pretend as if I'm foreigner because they don't regard me as their people. They are saying, something's changed, even my face. Something's changed. They feel like, they don't feel I'm Korean.
Oh no.
And even my Korean people, they are saying like that. Then Indian people also, I feel like you became Indian. So that time, first I felt bad. I didn't want to accept it. No, I want to be Korean. But now, oh, yeah, that is good. I don't live in Korea anymore. Now I'm regarded as a foreigner. I don't mind. And when I accept the change, I feel so good.
In 2 years you'll be Kenyan, don't worry.
Yeah, I don't worry about it. Hakuna Matata. Nasama Kiswahili sana. Nah, no problem.
Okay.
I also want to take you back a bit and support whatever Boniface said, because I also think as a community we also have to put so much positive input into the upbringing of our children, because we have come, just as Evan said, we have come from a society where we have been drummed down and told you cannot do this, you cannot achieve this. In fact, that's why you find our young people actually finding themselves in a situation of getting into leadership is like a status quo they have to break. Because throughout they've been told these things are not for you, the other things are not for you. And if I would give an example, recently I took my young nephew who is 4 years old for swimming. And it was his first class. So when he got out of the water, he asked me, how did I do it, Auntie Jen? I told him, you did it like a champion. The next time I followed, I asked him, how was swimming class today? He said, I swam like a champion, and I'll become a champion. So if we implant these things in young kids, eventually everybody will grow up knowing I can be whatever I want to be.
You know, I'm looking at a situation where, as you say, when the teenagers, when they're changing, if they're not, they don't have people around them to help them change in that, they indulge in other things which are really not good. So I'm looking, no one was there to guide them. They did that. Maybe they engaged themselves in drugs and all that. Now, how do you get them from that to being better people? You talked about the girl child and the boys and all that. Now I'm looking at something which has impacted one person in a wrong ways, indulging drugs and all that. How do we get them out of that? Because I'm thinking of someone who is addicted now. How do we get them out of that, changing them to be better people?
I think Boniface gave us the solution to that when he said we need to appreciate people. Because just as I stated earlier, I believe everybody, each one of us has a special gift in them. Like now in my community, as I walk around and even meet the youth, I always ask them, we are very good at complaining. But like now I'll meet footballers. Somebody who can pepeta the ball, pepeta means kicking the ball like that. They can kick the ball, throw it to the head, do something. So I always ask them, you are good at that. Does every small boy in this village play the ball as good as you do? They don't. So anytime you think, the government does not care about me, the society does not care about me, can you take that time instead of complaining and go and teach a boy something? Similarly, you'll find some people who can rap very well. And you look at this person, so in the midst of all the adversity, there's a good thing in each person. Let's spot that talent and help build it up. Because we can tell those people, despite the drugs, you're the best actor I know.
You know, like as they said, I think appreciation is the most important thing right now. As a young person, also they have to appreciate themselves, and they have to appreciate this, the surround the world, the surround him. The world is changing. They have to see the change, the process of change, and then they can be ready to accept the change. So, are you ready to accept change? So, I think in women's viewers, so sometimes we need change. Like suppose I don't know. Maybe you can always give your opinion. Anyway, we change this one. It's new one, right? And did you accept this? Okay. Anyway, we want to have a short break, and during the time, you can send your opinion to us, so we can share with us after short break. I hope you are having a wonderful morning with us. Okay, so like today is a Monday, we are starting with change. Every day maybe you can experience change. Then how do you accept, and then how do you see your youngsters they accept change and all? Maybe you can think about that with us. And then today we've been discussed about youth and change, and then we don't now. I think I can accept change very easily. Sophie, you became like that, right? So I read some book. It is written that don't you feel like change? Let change. Just let it be. Don't think like this change is very good. So very very good change. This change is very bad. So stop. It's not like that, because suppose we can imagine that music can be very good to some very bright music. It can be good to gloomy. Some people are very gloomy, and then bright music can be bad too. Those who are crying for somebody's death, like that different. So it depends on people, I think. So even though it's a very good change, sometimes teenagers they accept as a very bad thing, and even though it's a very bad change, but they accept as a very good thing. So I think we have to think about the role of elders first, because we elders always have to guide youngsters, right? I should not say we. Elders always guide us.
So older than one person.
And in this case, an elder is not the very aged.
The white-haired.
Yeah, anybody is an elder. The 4-year-old is an elder to the 2-year-old. So there's still something the 2-year-old can learn from them.
So when are you born?
I am 29 years old.
Oh, that means you can be my elder.
Yes, I am.
I can be guided by you.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned about the parents should not use some sentence to their children. Suppose, I think comparison. Especially teenagers. Suppose, I don't know how to tell, but suppose when I see my friend, she became like woman. But I'm still like a baby, sometimes because of physical change.
Yeah.
And then some teenagers are very matured. But when I see myself, I'm not mature. But that moment, if a mother compared with me and that girl, I really cannot tolerate, Don't you feel like that? Yeah. So we should not say, oh, my friend's daughter is not like this. What's wrong with you? If you say like that to your child, she will be so much frustrated. Already she's frustrated because of physical changes. But that time, if your mother said, it's okay, don't care. She is she, you are you. You are different. If you encourage it like that way, it will be very good. Do you agree with me? Am I right?
To some extent. Right. But my concern is about the issue of the student wearing miniskirts. I'll start from that point.
I'm
not going back, but I want. No. Okay.
Change our topic.
Okay. This thing was not discussed by students. Was discussed by the elderly people, and they came up with a conclusion that students will start wearing miniskirt. So personally, I would like to discourage that completely, because what I understand is that after we encourage this thing to take place in this country, our student will be the most affected. We are like creating a platform for the students to start engaging themselves in funny activities, and the ending result will be so weird to our student. So personally, I'd like to discourage this. Secondly, I would like to talk about the elderly people. Change start with you, start with me. I personally, I must decide that I want to change this habit. I want to change this kind of stuff I'm doing. So change starts with you, then family, then it comes to the community, then the entire world. So what we need to do is, we as Kenyans, we as people, we need to accept change as an individual. First you accept this change, then the family, then it goes to a point of community and the entire country.
Yeah.
So it's a process. And I would like also to encourage the young people outside there, the student, the women, the elderly people, to be part of this change we are talking about. It's not all about teenagers. It's not all about students. It's not all about the youth. It's all about us as Kenyans.
And it's all about myself.
Yeah, and it's all about yourself
Yes.
as individual. So this change we are talking about, it's a general thing. So let us embrace this change and let us move toward this positive change we are talking about.
I look at change more like driving through fog or mist. Although you can't see well
very
where you're
well right
going,
now.
but you know you're going somewhere.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of you just being more keen and just determined to just go forward and just drive. You don't know what you meet there, but just go. You know, change makes someone, it's like getting you out of your comfort zone. Like you used to so much this, but when with change, you move from there and you're totally in a different situation, and that will push you to do even the best of yourself instead of just being where you always used to.
When you talked about comparison, it's reminded me of my parents were both teachers, but they are not retired. And I tend to think there's something they had seen ahead of time. Because we are 4 siblings, and what my parents did is they always discovered each of us, whatever our strength was.
Yeah.
So I have a very academically bright sibling. Then my parents would remind us, yes, you're academically bright, but he's more loving. She's more creative, and she's very determined. So all of us were kept in balance, that nobody would ever think you're better than the other one, which I would also think is something I would request most parents to do. Always see a strength in each of your children and help them build
Because
on it.
everyone is different. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
All
sure.
youngsters, they're all different.
Yeah.
In my sister, we are 3 girls in my house. I have 8 years younger than my sister, and we are all different. So my parents treat us in different way.
Yeah.
Really, they're different toward all of us. And we think my parents' most loved daughter is me. 3 of us, we think like that.
Exactly.
Oh, that is very good to, you know, our youngsters. So anyway, we are talking about our young people, and as young people, you know, now we can say we are leaders of some part, right? I'm leader of Women's View, and then you can be leader of myself or so. Anyway, we are leaders. So like being a leader, and maybe you can have some encouragement to our youngsters. So I'd like to give you the most honorable time to give last word to our viewers and our friends and our parents, our youngsters. Maybe Jane, you can start first.
Okay, my last word would be change is a good thing, and we need to accept it as it comes. And for me, my message would be let's change for success. And my secret to success, though I have not achieved that, I'm still going through the change process, is something I call the 4 Gs. The first one is growth. Let's listen to each other, let's learn from each other. The second one is generosity. Whenever you give, you always receive. So for you, that will progress you higher. And I always say God will never give you something when your palm is closed.
Yeah.
You have to open it up as you're giving somebody for him to find space to refill it. Then the third one is gratitude. We need to appreciate where we are at for us to move to the next level. And the fourth one, we are all spiritual. The fourth one is God. In everything, let's include him, involve him, consult him. Because for young people, we tend to think it is old-fashioned to fear God. It is not. Make him your confidant, talk to him, tell him your aspirations, and he will guide you through.
Oh,
Thank you.
Very good. You know, like I have to open something and let other people feel that, because I cannot feel everything by myself. But some youngsters, they really think they are something, they can do everything by themselves. But I really hope that they would open their heart to Kitoko. Maybe that Kitoko open at that time, something can come from the time, it can be opened widely, right? So I really hope that. Okay, Ivan?
Yeah. Actually, on the issue of touching about the heart, majorly I deal with the youth. So my main major is the heart.
Okay.
So in this area, I believe that everyone can change. Yeah. Everyone can change. But with that, we have to give them that platform. You know, the birds can fly. Yeah? But if you put a bird inside,
Nest.
can it fly? There's no platform. So if we give them that platform they can fly on,
Yeah.
this is the change we are talking about. Yeah, for parents and a child to come together, they have to join their hearts. It has to become one. If I have to listen to my mother, I have to understand her heart. If I have to listen to my father, I have to understand her heart. When we become one, I can easily listen to, even to my friends. As I work with the youth, the one that encourages me, they have to open their hearts.
Yeah.
As they open their hearts, they become one. Yeah. When I open my heart to you, we can talk freely. When we talk, I can change my ideas. The way I thought about this one is wrong.
So did you open your heart?
Very open. Yeah. So it's very open in the aspect of they say that you don't judge the book by its cover. You know, you have to open the heart of someone to realize the truth.
So like you, as you're working in IOF office, maybe you are preparing, maybe you must be very busy for preparing World Camp.
Yeah,
So can you
very
please
busy.
tell about
Like the World Camp. World Camp, this is an event for the youth. Actually, this time we are holding it the 5th time. And in this is a time where the youth they come together. They meet together from almost 20 different countries. And in this time we divide them into groups. They are together and they share their hearts. They open to each other. Actually, me, I attended the 2009 World Camp. When I listen, when we're in group, I expressed my heart. My family is like this. But someone from Mexico was talking about the same thing. You know what I realized? Mexico and Kenya, there's no difference. Only that he has come to this place. Yeah, through that I could change my mindset. I thought, this situation is in this place only. So World Camp is a place is like that fellowship. That they are coming together with the youth and they are able to share their hearts.
Wow.
Yeah. So this 1-week program, we are arranging it from the 30th up to the 4th of August.
So after you experienced the good thing, now you want to give to our other youngsters.
This
You're
is now
doing
the
such a
platform
very
to
good
fly
job,
on.
you know.
That's what
okay.
you were speaking about
Now
the platform.
we are basing the platform now
now
they
you
can
became
fly.
platform.
Yeah, you they have the potential. but-
Very good. You always, keep it up. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, Boniface.
Okay, I'll talk about time, and time is the most precious commodity we have. So let's create time and listen to our elderly people. And also, what I understand is change. It's a two-way traffic.
Okay.
So let us listen to one another and create your own time to listen to yourself and come up with a constructive decision.
Okay, like as we talk about our youngsters and change, first I think you have to appreciate the change around you, and then as elders we have to see change in our youngsters. If you understand each other, maybe you can accept change very easily. And we are continue this topic tomorrow too. We are going to talk about mind training. So please be with us even tomorrow. Thank you. Have a lovely day.